Hello. In this short video, we'll kind of show what the course plan template in conjunction with Multi-Year Academic Planner, or MyApp, can do to help save your counselor some time to give course requests and also plan out a typical, emphasis on the word typical, for your plan. So for this to happen, we kind of had have some agreed upon courses that a student would typically take in their four-year career. Think world history, usually grade 10, U.S. history grade 11, U.S. government in 12, with economics coming on the same year, English 9, English 10, English 11, and expository reading and writing. Now, in the case of a student that is, say, an incoming ninth grader that's going to be in advanced English 9, they'll still get this plan, get this template with most of the courses on there, including PE1, for example, and that can always be changed as long as the student isn't scheduled into those courses. So before schedules are rolled, not requests, but before schedules are actually completed and loaded onto a student's schedule in the future year, then you can change anything that's on there, including years in the future. Where you can't change anything on the program is after it's been scheduled. And that'll make more sense when we actually do it with a sample student. So we're going to do that now. So you can scroll through here and see some of the other courses as well. Algebra 1 as a ninth grader, geometry as a 10th grader. Obviously, we know that we might need to change some things around, as we would in our sample student today, because he's taken Algebra 1 as an 8th grader, so we'll have to move that around. But it should save your counselors a whole bunch of time just loading up what a typical skeletonized master schedule would be. Of course, they still need to add in electives, VAPA credit, and whatever else that your individual school can offer. So for this to happen, you can use a mass program assign. So there's an actual tool for batch assignment tools that the district office can help you with, and we'll batch add all of your incoming ninth graders. It'll only work with incoming ninth graders. That's something to note as well. Give all of them the same program. It'll load up that typical skeletonized structure, and then you can switch over to a program that you might use all the time. In our case, it'd be college readiness or high school grad or AB 216. But we're going to do it with a sample student right now so you can see what it actually looks like. And you're not required to batch edit. You can do this with one student at a time. Of course, that would take a whole bunch of time when you could just let the computer do the magic that it can do. All right, so we're going to look at this kid here, typical kid. He is a little bit different. He's taken Algebra 1 from the norm, or the aggregate here. He has taken Algebra 1 as an 8th grader, so we'll have to switch that, but I'll show you how that goes. But here's how you use the course plan template. You give them a program. In this case, in our case anyway, it's called Course Plan Template 9th grade only. It's pretty specific, and it's as straightforward as I could possibly name it. You're going to select it. Of course, with any program, you have to have a start date, and it doesn't really matter, so I'm going to pick today because it's Pi Day, and why not? Now, on this particular program, we've loaded up a course plan template. We wouldn't do that, and we won't do that currently anyway, unless the tech changes on IC's end. We won't do that with the other courses that we typically use, because it's gonna mess it up if you use a 10th grader and schedule courses that they're not in. So there's kind of a one-shot deal to give them a basic kind of starting point. One of the kind of metaphors, I guess, we used with our secondary director, Brian, was think of if you had a four-year course plan, you're probably going to write the words English 9, 10, 11, 12, or URWIC on your 12th grade plan before you run the copies, because most of those are going to stay fairly stagnant. You might always put your 10th graders in world history, for example, always put your 11th graders in US history, for example. And of course, there's always going to be differences and changes, but for the most part, it's going to just save you guys a lot of time. So we'll do that. So course plan template 9th grade only. I hit save, and that is 100% what I need to do to make this happen. So if I were to go to his progress now, keep in mind he had nothing scheduled. He doesn't have anything scheduled. You're going to see a lot of greens because they are scheduled out for him. So if I want to look at world history, he's got that plan for 10th grade. He's got that plan for 11th grade. He's got government plan for 12th grade, economics plan for 12th grade. Now, the way multi-year academic planner works, of course, is it takes this plan and converts them using course plan or the program admin, converts that plan into course requests. So still being bound by whatever you've got as far as section allocation, whatever sections you have. If there's a course that doesn't exist at your particular campus, for example, say you whatever, you got rid of US history, it's still going to load whatever it can load. If you were to create a section of that particular course, then it'll load it automatically. But these are pretty straightforward. There's no kind of surprises in there. The pathway that we chose for science, very important to note, 9th grade biology and 10th grade chemistry, 11th grade physics. The way it's going to show up in my app, of course, is it's going to show up as physics as a science because it'll overflow from physical science. That's where it's typically held. We didn't load any electives because those are specific to the student. Health education comes in 9th grade, and physical education. Now these can change too, so don't be married to them or whatever. If we were to go to the student's course plan, then you're going to see, take a little bit to load, you're going to see that it's loaded for us. It's loaded the courses that we have for that skeletonized template. So pretty helpful because this is a lot of clicking and using a drop down when if you're doing that for 4 years especially. But this should give your counselors a nice big head start to get those kind of non-negotiables, I guess, out of the way, like English 9. Now I made a point to use a student that's already taken algebra in that case. So if he's already done that and I'm looking at his transcript or I'm looking at whatever I need to do, then I can take that out, of course, because we haven't scheduled anything. And in this case, if I were to look at his math courses, then I'd say, okay, well, he needs to get algebra credit to graduate. We're going to look at him taking algebra 2 his junior year, and that would, in 3 years now or 2 years, anyway, that would give him course requests for algebra 2. Of course, to load course requests, you guys know this by now, but if I were to go to course plan admin, let me save real quick. It's going to give me my little warning. You haven't scheduled this kid to graduate. We'll come back to that later. If I were to load or create course requests, then now it's going to actually just create course requests. Something to keep in mind is Schedule Wizard, all of those great tools actually use course requests. You're not scheduling anything. You're creating a request. If you move sections around, if you change teachers' assignments, if you add a 1/6 or you add a new teacher, then all that does is fulfill course requests. So in conjunction with MYAP, giving a student a 4-year plan and seeing what happens when they fail a course, and the fact that it says that they're not on track anymore, but the fact that they have a 4-year plan, it'll generate those requests for most of those courses for you. And then something to keep in mind, and always keep in mind, is that until you actually schedule it, it's just a plan, right? The other thing is that you can actually change that mid-year, so you don't have to wait for the rollover. If a student comes in October, or your counselors get a spare second in October, for example, and they say, you know what, next year I want to take, I really want to take, a dual enrollment class or whatever, they can change that on their plan. It'll still work the same exact way. You'll generate course requests, but it's going to be based on their kind of living, breathing plan. So hopefully that helps. We'll figure this whole thing out together. But MYAP, especially in conjunction with the course plan template, should save you guys a lot of time and just data input, and give us a really good product as far as students seeing what they need to graduate, because we can do our part and schedule them in their 4-year or in the classes they need, but of course they need to do their part and pass those classes. All right, thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. Bye, guys.